Welcome. Today we're going to do an assembly video for model 1522. First of all, on behalf of myself and our fellow Casco Craftsman employees, I'd like to thank you for placing your trust in us and purchasing one of our products. We do our best to make quality items that will last for a very long time. With that said, we'll begin now. The first step in the assembly process is to fasten the glides to the right side panel. In order to identify them, in the ends of the panel are holes where the casters will go, so you'll be able to determine that's the bottom. Side panel that we're going to be working on becomes the right side panel, and that has the side panel is actually cut out below the legs because this unit has a drop leaf, so it gives room for the drop leaf support to extend in and out. So this is the panel we're looking for. So we're going to fasten the drawer glides. There's small pilot holes here, here, and here. So we're going to take the glides. First thing we have to do with the glides is remove this section, the end section, because this comes out, it gets fastened to the drawer, and when you install the drawer, that will go back into place. So for now, you'll see there's a black tab. I'm going to just push it down with my thumb, and you just pull that out. Sometimes you have to give it a good snap because the plastic will catch, but you need to separate that from the drawer glide itself and set this aside. So here, now it's very important that you put this on the correct direction. This is going to be the front of the unit, so you want the drawer glide to extend towards the front. And we fasten the glide to the panel using three, I believe they're 3/8 inch number 8 pan head screws. And the end of the glide is going to be behind this slot. And what you'll see here, I'm going to hold it behind there slightly, there's a hole here that lines up. This one has a little bit of a slot, and that one has a little slot. So I'm going to take 3 screws and we're going to turn this over, and you actually have to extend this glide in and out to be able to view those holes. So I've got it out, I can see a hole here, and I'll push it back a little bit more to find the last hole. So let me get some screws ready. So I'm going to tighten those with a power screwdriver, install the glide here and here. Okay, at this point I've attached all 3 glides with 3 screws in each one. And again, it's very important that the edge of the glide is behind the slot and that they all extend the correct direction. So with that said, I'm going to take a break. I'll set these 2 panels aside and I'll go get the drawers and I'll show you how to put a drawer together. So I'll be right back. Okay, the next step in the assembly is to put the 3 drawers together. So I'm going to show you how to do one of them. All 3 are identical. So this will be your drawer front. This will be the outside of the drawer. It's a nice raised panel door frame with a flat panel insert. And the back has 2 holes on each of the outside edges for fastening to the sides and a slot in the bottom for the bottom. We use what's called a bastion fastening system for this. It's a hidden fastening system. It comes with a silver colored post. It has threads on one end which will screw into the wood. Then it has a slot or a hole that through the side of it. And there'll be actually a nut that goes over top of that, and then a set screw which will turn down in and it'll tighten that up. It's called a positive fastening system because once it's put together, it stays in place, it won't work itself out. However, sometimes as the wood dries slightly, you may just have to tighten that set screw just a little bit, but usually once you set them, they're set. So the way this works is that what I always do is I always start these with my fingers and try to get about a turn and a half in there, because you want to keep that perpendicular to the surface of the wood. What I failed to mention is these come with a slot in the top. This one in particular has a slot for a flat blade screwdriver. Sometimes they come with a Phillips head screwdriver. But what I find easiest is I have a small Allen wrench that I use, And it just has to go through the hole in the side of the post. So like I just turned that one in with my fingers, and I'll just put this in here. You can just thread that in. You just thread it in until the shoulder touches the wood. And then what's important is the nut is going to be, the drawer side will go into place like this. The nut will be here, and then the set screw will come this way. So you're going to want to make sure that the hole is lengthways with the drawer. So you can either tighten this slightly or reverse it out so that that's lined up. So I'm going to just go ahead and put those other three in. So next I'm going to take two of the barrel nuts, drop them into the hole. You want to make it so that the access hole is the right direction. So the post will go through the hole in the wood, through the hole in the nut. And then you just drop that into place. You'll take the bronze colored set screw, the Allen wrench that we provide, you just put that on, and you just thread that in the end. Now that we've got both drawer sides fastened to the drawer front, we're going to insert the drawer bottom in those slots that run around the bottom. So I have a drawer bottom. This one has a little mark here, so I'll put this towards the inside of the drawer. Just line it up. Make sure it goes into the slot here in the drawer bottom. Next we'll take the drawer back. Again, you just line the slot up and you fasten it with 4 1.25" number 8 screws, 2 on each end. Also in this step, we're going to fasten the drawer glides that we had separated previously. You'll notice one end of the glide has a lip on it. That goes towards the front. There's pilot holes towards the top edge of the drawer, one towards the front, one towards the back. Also in this step, we're going to fasten the drawer handle. Okay, I've gone ahead and I've put those all 3 of the drawers together, and I've set them aside. The next step in the assembly instructions is to prep the door. You're going to see 2 holes for the handle, a hole for the magnet plate, and then also there's a hole in each end where the door will pivot in the unit. So I'm going to go ahead and attach the magnet plate first. So here's the magnet pack. A lot of times the plate is stuck onto the magnet, which is fine. You're going to see 2 round-headed screws, which will fasten the actual magnet block to the divider. Then a flathead screw, which is what we're going to use next. Now this is a very small Phillips, so I have a sharper, I think they call this a number 1 Phillips tip, so we'll get into that head. And there's 2 little bumps on the magnet plate. Those go towards the wood, and you'll see there's a little countersink on the other side for the screw. Well, this magnet plate goes vertically on the door. And what I'm going to do next, take the handle, I think they're either 7/8 or 1-inch machine screws. Make sure you put the handle on the outside of the door. If you need to, like if the wood's a little bit thin, I think I'm going to go ahead and use them. I'll just put that on. If it's a little bit thin, you may need a washer. Now also in this step, you're going to install the pins which the door will pivot on. These are the 1.5 inch or the longest pins that are included in the kit. So you're going to put one at the top, one at the bottom. It's okay if they're loose because the door just swings on it, or if it's tight you may have to tap them in with a hammer. Because sometimes the pins come in a little bit oversized, it's not a precise thing. So there, your door's ready. So I'll just set that down. When we install the door, there'll be a little washer that goes on the bottom for that to pivot. But for now, I'm just going to set it back. Next step, these are your 2 front braces. You're going to see in the end, there's a hole, which is where we're going to put a bolt to fasten it. Then there's also a smaller hole, which is where we will install a 3/4 inch pin so that this won't twist once it's in position. So you just put a pin at each end. Okay, so I'm going to stop and I'll set up. I'll show you how the divider gets put together with the glide. So I'll be right back. Okay, the next next step is to prepare the center divider. What this will do, this will go inside the cabinet towards the center. You'll notice one edge has edge banding, so it's a finished edge. The other edge does not, so that will be going towards the back. One side has pilot holes for glides, and you'll notice this is your right side panel. Your divider becomes your left side panel, so we need to make sure that the glides went that way on this, and they're going to extend towards me on this one, or towards the finished edge. After we do that, we're going to flip it over. You're going to see two little pilot holes towards the top, which is where the magnet will fasten, and then there's also some pinholes, which we're going to put some metal pins in here, and also here for your middle shelf and your bottom shelf. So to start with, I'm going to reverse it back here. Again, the glides that we fasten to that side panel extend that way. These will extend towards me. So I've got these right here ready. And kind of the same positioning. It will be basically centered in the panel. There's a hole that lines up here, here, and here. So 3 screws in each one. Okay, so that's this side. We're going to flip it over. See if it stays on my stand here. Okay. I'll grab the magnet block. Again, you want the magnet face towards the front edge. Get my little screwdriver. Just hold that in position. There's slots so that you can adjust this later if needed. Now we'll tap our pins in. We're going to use 1-inch pins for the shelves, 3/4-inch pins in the edges. So you take your shorter 3/4-inch pins, start them into the holes. That one just inserts with my fingers. If you need to, you can tap them with a hammer. These go right in. Then some 1-inch pins for the shelves. Okay, now I'm going to set this aside and get ready for the next step. Alright, so the next step is to basically assemble the base. We're going to take the right side panel, so what we started with. We'll grab the back panel. It's almost a square, but a rectangular piece. 4 holes, 4 large holes, which will be where the nuts go. Then there's 2 pilot holes, which we're going to, that's where we'll fasten the L brackets that hold the top. And then a couple larger holes, which is where the divider will install here in a moment. So the way this works, we include these 1 3/4-inch machine screws. You're going to just start it through the hole in the outside of the leg, just kind of like line it up here, get it started. Then you take one of these hex nuts and a screwdriver, put the hex nut on your finger, you just hold it in position. And I'm also going to fasten the left side panel. Again, you remember the bottom has the wheel holes, so that's how we know which way it goes. Again, you're just going to insert one of the machine screws. Okay. Now, I'm going to grab the divider, put it in position. It's just the pins in the edge. Remember, using the edge, it's not finished. I'll line up the bottom hole first, and then the top. That's slid right into place. Next, I'm going to take a front brace. Now this hole over here is where the door will pivot. So actually I'm going to put the pin in place, line it up with the divider. Now, fortunately now this side panel is a little bit askew. You may have to spread that, or I'm going to just pull that in where it goes. And I'm going to put a bolt in each end. Now the next step is to put the door in place. So we had prepped the door previously. You have to have a washer on the bottom of this door so it'll pivot freely. You just put the door pin right in that hole, stand it up, let the magnet help you. That's where that'll go. Take our other brace. Again, here's the pivot for the door. So this one you're going to kind of put in and slide it down. It dropped right onto that door pin. You're going to line up the divider. And then if you have to, you just spread this panel in and out a little bit to line it up. So we put a machine screw in each end of that. Now your door is going to open and close. Also in this step, we're going to fasten the metal L brackets. There's 4 of these. There's 2 holes in the back panel, 2 holes in the back of the brace. You're going to use 5/8 number 6 screws using the slot in this metal bracket. You fasten that so that this is slightly below the edge of the back panel and the edge of the brace. That way it'll tighten as you put the top on. As I mentioned, I've gone ahead and I've fastened the L brackets. These will be used to fasten the tabletop here momentarily. Also in this step, you're going to want to install 4 more 1-inch pins in the side panel. We've installed them in the divider, so they go in the side panel to hold your bottom and your middle shelf. I'll reach in there and do it. The next step for assembly is we're going to put the top and drop leaf together. It's a pretty simple procedure. The drop leaf goes onto the end of the tabletop. We have these metal hinges that just line up here with those pilot holes. Those use 5/8 number 6 screws. So you do that with both hinges. Then also there's a metal drop leaf support. So when the drop leaf is down, it just hangs. When it's up, this extends out and supports the drop leaf. So we use a little bit bigger screws here. These are 5/8 number 8s, a little bit larger diameter. So put 4 of those in. These are the pilot holes where the metal L brackets will fasten the base of the tabletop. Sometimes it's hard to see those, so you can put a little mark on there with a pencil. I'm going to try it without, so I'm going to just grab the base. Again, this could be heavy, but I'm going to set it in position. I can look down through the bottom and line it up pretty close. Then I have to reach inside there and fasten that with 4 5/8 number 6 screws. So it's going to be... So as I mentioned previously, I went ahead and I fastened the tabletop to the base with the L brackets, and now I've gone ahead and I've uprated the unit. So we're on the home stretch. So we're almost done. The next thing we're going to want to do is install the bottom shelf. The bottom shelf is just a little bit longer than the middle shelf. Alright, so we're going to just drop this into place. I always grab the back of the shelf and install it, put it up against the front brace, let it drop in place. The middle shelf has edge banding on the outside edge. The back edge is natural or raw, so I'm going to pick the best side, put that into place, and there, that cabinet's done. Next we're going to install the 3 drawers. They're all identical, so for my ease I'm going to start with the bottom. You just reach in there with your finger and extend these glides. Let me grab a drawer. I'll turn this a little bit. So what you want to do, just kind of line up one of the sides and just like put it in place by 1 inch. The other side, you just reach across, line that up. You just want to kind of slowly make sure those are lined up. And then you're going to want to, this is going to go hard because these are ball bearing glides. And since we've taken them apart, we have to like kind of force them into position so where the ball bearings line up. So the first time in and out is going to be tough. You just kind of like force it in. There we go. And then after that, it's going to run nice and smooth. So I'm going to repeat that with the other 2. So the final step, we provide little wooden plugs, so you're going to want to put in 4 on each of the side panels. You tap them in with a hammer, A lot of times, I'll take a piece of the plastic bags that we provide, just tap on those so you don't mark the wood. And then you'll be all done. You'll have a nice little kitchen cart with a drop leaf. So thank you again for watching. I hope it's been helpful.